All right, we're back with another episode of Rubber City Throwdown. And you know what today is?
It is fucking fight week, bro.
It is fight week. I
Oh
am
my god.
fucking pumped. It
Dude,
may not seem like it, but I am actually really pumped. This is the last installment of this month that we'll do covering Operation Shockwave. That's Honor Fighting Championship 3 Operation Shockwave, scheduled for March 31st at Akron, or in Akron, Ohio, at the Chaparrals Event Center, located at 2418 South Arlington Road. And promoter Jeremy Cardell has done a fantastic job promoting this event so far. And you guys can check them out at honorfightingchampionship.com. And make sure to support your local fighter by buying their tickets directly from them or heading over to fightertix.com. And if you happen to miss the event, you guys aren't going to make it, make sure you stop on over to fight.tv and order the online pay-per-view. It's actually $14.99, so actually be saving some money anyway. And last but not least, I just want to head a shout out to my boy Tony at Blue Lou, who is continuously sponsoring the podcast, and also Apex Fight Systems, and about 4 of us that are boxing on April 7th. So I'm wearing their gear now. Got the hoodie, got the beanie on. So I'm gonna show some love, throw some love out there for Tony and Blue Lou. So
don't forget, bro. Blue Lou also sponsors Honor Fighting Championship as well.
they do. They were last couple events. I'm not sure if he's going to be sponsoring him or the event. This one, like this event, I don't know if he's going to be doing this event, but the last show that we were at, man, they got in the cage. They were tossing out free T-shirts.
Where's my T-shirt?
So,
I wanted a free
well,
T-shirt.
you didn't catch one.
I know.
But
Try and stay away from the cage as much as possible. Before
I was directly in front of the cage when I was commentating the event, and I didn't get a free T-shirt. But with them sponsoring the fight team, I was managed to get my hands on some free gear, so I lucked out.
It is nice stuff, though.
It is. If you're a bodybuilder, you know they've got some great bodybuilder gear, man.
Really?
So
Is there a website that we can go to? Or?
no, it doesn't have a website up. It had a Facebook page, but it's currently being taken down because Tony is actually going to start promoting mixed martial arts now instead of bodybuilding. So
There we go.
oh, excuse me. But let's go ahead and get right in this event. It's Fight Week podcast, Fight Week MMA, and we've got a hell of an event
Hell
on
yeah,
the
we do.
31st. First and foremost, the Yohi fight had been canceled. They're currently looking for an opponent. I hope they get one. I haven't gotten the
Yeah,
word.
we were looking forward to it last time.
Haven't gotten a word from Matchmaker of the Year, Scott Corbin, but Yohi's a 6-0 fighter, and it would be a damn shame to not see him fight. I know Scott has been really, really looking for a fight for this kid, and like I said, unless he hasn't announced it yet, we don't know, but we'll keep everybody updated.
We gotta get some kind of record going farther than what he's already got. He's already 6-0. Let's
Well,
find
it's hard
something.
to get him. It's hard to get these guys fights, man. That's why a lot of people disagree with the rule change in Ohio about having 9 amateur fights before you're allowed to go pro, because it was 5. So guys like Yohu, it's really hard to find them fights
With an undefeated record. Yeah, I mean, you would think that there would be some kind of exception.
Yeah, ask Corey Breckner about that.
Yeah, let me just call them up.
There's no exception. But kicking this off, we're gonna talk about Marcus Betty versus Quentin Deal. Both fighters 1 and 2. Marcus being the taller of the two, 6'4" to 6'2", and this is a heavyweight matchup, man. We're looking forward to it, and don't let these records fool you, man. Heavyweight is a difficult weight class to compete in. I should know, but
no, you haven't had any controversy.
with Marcus winning his last fight, and that's the thing. Like, he lost his first 2 fights in 2014, 2015. I mean, hell, he fought Seth Sharp at the NAAFS.
Right.
So, like, with him just coming back, he had a 2-year layoff, him coming back at Cage Thunder 1,
Right.
which would have been in November. It would have been November. I think it was the 22nd, 2017.
Yeah, it was.
He came out with a first round victory over second round victory, 1 minute in the second round over Josh Hoskar. So this next fight with Quentin Deal, who is coming off of a loss to Josh Farley as June of 2017. He's the more recent fighter. You know, he started fighting in 2016. 2 fights in 2016, racking up a 1-1 record, then losing to Josh Farley at Cage Madness 49 before they became Iron Tiger.
Right.
Hashtag
Fuck Alliance.
Fuck Alliance. Every show, man. We gotta say it at least once, right?
Well, we just said it twice.
We did, didn't we?
We did. It's okay. It's a double pounder.
But this is a new fight, one of the fights that had been added to the card, and that we weren't able to cover last week's podcast. So looking forward to it, man. I always look forward to a heavyweight matchup because, to be honest with you, you know, heavyweights now compared to the heavyweights 10 years ago, man, it's hard to find heavyweight fights.
Right. Everybody wants to go lightweight or.
It's like the atom weight fight that we're going to be talking about later in the card, man. You just, you know, not as rare, it's hard to find, you know, when you see a heavyweight fight. Right. It's like seeing a super heavyweight fight. There's only like one on the card.
There's one on this card, right?
There's one on this one too. So at least we get, I think we get two heavyweight fights. This one, and then there's the Trevor Styles heavyweight matchup that we're going to be talking about here coming up as well.
We're talking about who's that guy? Matt Adams, right?
Yeah, Matt Adams.
Yeah.
Trevor Styles and Matt Adams. And that's another heavyweight matchup that we're also going to be talking about. And I'm looking forward to that. So anytime there's a heavyweight matchup coming up, definitely.
It's near and dear to your heart. We know.
It is near and dear.
I love it.
And moving on, we're just going to rack up. We're just going to start going up the amateur event list at this point.
Well, right now we've got
start at the bottom.
Yeah, we've got everybody coming in, and then also the I don't think we have any kind of titles going on for professional.
No, actually, I think our first professional title is actually was officially been announced. Andrew Law is actually going to be competing for the welterweight title, the first welterweight title.
Everybody gets his name wrong though.
Not everybody. You.
Everybody gets it. It's Justin Law. It's not. No, I'm just kidding. There's gonna be a time where somebody's gonna walk up to him and say, "Wait, is it Justin or Andrew?"
Yeah, aren't you? Is it your name Justin?
I just want to make this clear. I'm just joking around.
I hope that
this is not a real thing. It's Andrew Law. He's a really cool guy, awesome fighter, great competitor.
He's gonna walk him and slap you in the face one day.
It's okay.
Fucking his name up so bad that even his own fans of Andrew are gonna start getting his name wrong. It's gonna be an ongoing inside joke.
It's either that or it's gonna be just one of those things like he walks up and just says, "Dude, if you keep this up seriously, I'm gonna have to change my fucking name."
But no, the fights that we're talking about on this podcast, it's not the tentative bout order.
No,
so,
it's not.
It's basically just the bottom of the list, moving our way up. And, you know, that doesn't mean that Marcus Betty and Quentin Deal are, like, worse off, you know?
No, they could be. Yeah, they're going to put on a
worst
great
of the amateurs. No. We're just starting low. But moving on to Austin Bailey and Doug Lewis, both guys at featherweight making their amateur debut.
Yes, and you know how I enjoy the debut guys.
Oh,
I really do.
Doesn't everybody?
I mean, seriously. We've got very limited information on these guys. Their age is 20 years old for Mr. Austin Bailey. He's coming in at 5'11" and 145 pounds.
Yeah, both fighters are fighting at the featherweight division, and we got Austin Bailey, who's fighting at a T County Boxing Academy. So it's always a pleasure to see what what T County Boxing Academy got, because like who was it? Braden Liggett. Wasn't Braden Liggett? He fought KO Butler at the Honor Fighting Championship 2. And Braden was a T County Boxing Academy guy, and he put on a clinic. Yep. I mean, he put on a boxing clinic in that fight, man. And the guy, they all obviously train very hard for T County, and they've got a very wide variety of styles that they go with. And you're right, the guy went in there and just
just pounded it out, man. It was great.
But here's the kicker. He's fighting Doug Lewis. Doug Lewis trains out of Fightopia
Oh shit!
with the Honey Badger, baby.
Right.
You know, he's been with Fightopia for like the last 6 or 7 months. And I'm gonna quote Doug. Talked to him the other day. He's been training with Fightopia 6-7 months now, and he will never go anywhere else.
That's loyalty. We
Yeah,
just covered loyalty.
Covered loyalty, man. He's had nothing but when I brought up that we had just interviewed, Tim Hughes. He goes, Tim Hughes has helped me out tremendously. He loves that guy. Had nothing but good stuff, great stuff to say about not only the fight team but with his training partners as well. So now you got this guy from T County Boxing Academy,
right?
Making his debut. And then now you have this guy from Fightopia who trains with some of,
right?
What is it? Fightopia is out of Piqua, isn't it? Piqua, Ohio.
It's Piqua, Ohio, and they've got some of the.
They got tough dudes. No,
yeah.
that fight team, that camp is rapidly growing.
Right.
If you guys haven't heard of Fightopia or want to know anything
One of their
about
fighters
it, man,
is
check out our last week's podcast when we
right.
interviewed the Honey Badger. Man, he had nothing but great things to say about those guys, about his training partners, about how hard they work. I mean, and then they're doing great. And Tim Hughes is another guy that we're going to be talking about on this card who is fighting Damian Morosco. So we're going to talk about him as well.
Right. Yeah. And going back to the Badger, man, the Honey Badger, one of our close friends, he was talking about.
I wouldn't say close friends.
Okay. we just covered him. We had him on. He's now a close friend.
No, he's a good dude, man. I like that. I like that kid.
And he was talking about how he has
his fight.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And I'm looking forward to interviewing him again in person. Come Saturday. So
yes, definitely. No, he was talking about getting in the ring with or training out and sparring out with the wide variety of fighters that they've got on Utopia. Right. And that there's so many different ways that he had to train with it, and that it makes them all better fighters that way. So yeah, you're right. T County's got something coming to him. Let's find out who's going where.
I said it's going to be interesting. I'm not saying that one team is better than the other, one fighter is going to be better than the other. It's really difficult to say. And like I said, when when both guys are making a debut,
right,
you honestly don't know anything about this guy. So when we try to find information on him, on paper, all you have. So you have. I take you back to the old days of the rivalry between Gryffindor and Strong Style. It was like
I thought you were about to say Gryffindor.
Gryffindor.
Gryffindor and Slytherin.
And but when you had those two teams, man, on a card, and they went up against each other, you looked at it and was like, oh, well, this guy fights for Strong Style, he's gonna win. And that's how
just
it is
because
now.
Strong Style had that kind of fucking backing, though. I mean,
no, they didn't. That's the thing. Back then, they
didn't.
You're
going way back.
I mean,
okay.
We're talking about 10 years ago, where Stipe took a fucking hiatus of MMA for a while to do Golden Gloves on boxing, and then when he came back and he became a household name and just trashed everybody in the heavyweight division, and Strong Style became what they are now.
Right.
And with now they're basically like a stepping stone to the UFC, and that's it's good for Marcus, it's good for them. But back 10, 12 years ago, it was when you had these teams in the rivalry, your fight team was your legacy, basically.
Correct.
You get a guy. So when I started, I was with Rising Phoenix. I guarantee only but 4 or 5 people know who Rising Phoenix is to this day.
Right. Then you went to Payne Headquarters, didn't you?
Yeah. Then Payne Headquarters, where Russ Halsey basically grew from there. So there's we don't get into that, but we'll move on to the next fight.
Zachary Fisher.
Yeah, he's going up against Adam Sagari. Swag. I'm just gonna call him Swagger.
It does almost look like Swagger,
man.
Except for the W in there.
And the Y. It starts with a fucking
it's
Y.
It's a silent Y.
It's a silent. Whenever he's gonna call him Swagger, Adam Swagger.
It's a silent Y, guys. So Zachary Fisher's coming in at us, 6'1", 170 pounds. He's 23 years
That's
old.
pretty tall for a. I mean, okay, well, it's tall for a welterweight. I guess it would be tall for a.
170
lightweight.
pounds. I'm 6 foot.
6'1's not too bad for a welterweight.
Definitely not 170 pounds, guys. The camera adds 20 pounds.
Yeah, blame it on the camera.
No, it's this is also a debut fight. It shows here at
For
least.
Zachary, yeah.
Yeah, for Zachary.
And for Adam, he's coming in at 1-1 at 30 years old. He's 5'10", and he's coming off of a loss last month, actually, February 3rd against Tony Franklin at the St. Valentine's Day Massacre. He lost in the 3rd round by guillotine choke. So he also lost his first fight back in August of 2017. Sorry, I take that back. I apologize. He won his first fight against Josh Turner via submission armbar in the first round, and then he lost his second fight against Tony Franklin. So I do apologize. I was reading that wrong.
Jeez, Norm.
Yeah.
Fucking shit up already. No, it's I think it's going to be a good fight. I mean, I honestly.
Well, I mean, it's hard to say that's going to be a good fight. You got Zachary Fisher, who's 0-0. And then you have Adam Swagger, who is 1-1. He's new. And both of his fights have ended on the ground.
That's
one in
true.
his favor and one against his favor. So at least we can say, just by looking at this card, looking at this fight, is that, this is a very strong possibility that it's going to go to the ground.
Most fights do.
So... Well, I mean, yeah.
I'm glad that I got you on that one. All right, moving on to the next one. We got Chris Batt and Patrick Coon. Coon?
Coon.
Coon. We'll call you Cooney.
Yeah, we're not going to call you Cooney.
I mean,
Patrick,
it's just
Patrick is another one. We got another the debut, and then we have Chris Batt, who's 0-1.
0-1,
So
28
they're
years
at
old.
middleweight. They're coming in at 185. They're both identical height, both standing at 5'11".
And it looks like Chris Batt's coming off of a loss. Obviously, it's 0-1.
Yeah, he actually lost to Mike Siebert, man.
Really?
Boy, Mike Siebert, yeah.
I see that.
By rear naked choke in the first round at Cage Madness 28 in 2014.
Wow. Oh, I kind of figured when you said Cage Madness 28.
Yeah.
Considering that we went to the 48 show.
Right. So he's decided that, 4.5 years later. Oh no, actually,
Almost 5.
No, it's
4. Yeah.
4. Yeah, 4 years later, man.
Sorry, guys. I'm a math pro. I really suck at math.
4 years later, man, he's coming back in and he's trying to do his thing, man. I mean, there's nothing wrong with trying to make a comeback. So I wish this guy luck, man. He decided that this wasn't it. This wasn't it for that one loss. He was gonna come back. Maybe he went in the military or some shit, man. Did his time, came out. Now he's trying to get back into it. Who knows? Maybe he went to jail.
How do you go from your story to somebody else's random story?
What are you talking about? My story.
Military coming back. And,
So what?
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I was just using that as an example that he had a 4-year layoff. So who the fuck knows why he had a 4-year layoff? We'll find out
Yes,
when
we
we
will.
interview this kid on Saturday, unless this fight got scrapped and then we're just sitting here wasting time on the mic. So
It's okay. We can always waste time, but because we're not going to.
let's talk about this next. This is our next heavyweight matchup with Trevor Styles and Matt Adams. Trevor Styles is 6'4", 265 solid, man. This guy is 1-1-1, and another one hasn't fought since 2010. So this guy's coming in on an 8-year layoff.
I'm going to leave the math to you
Yeah.
because I suck at it. So his last fight was in 2010. It looks like November against Ed Muse. Ed Mouse.
Ed Mouse.
I swear it looks like Mouse. I don't have any other information on that.
No, yeah, he had 3 fights in 2010. He won. He had a draw against David Green at Cage Madness 17.
There you go.
And then,
Went all the way back to the beginning.
And then he had a win against Jason Olsen, and then he lost to Ed Mouse, and then that was it. He disappeared, and now he's going up against a.
Maybe he's like a beautiful little butterfly. Had a
he's
cocoon.
going up against a younger
Matt
fighter,
Adams.
Matt Adams, and Matt Adams is 20 years old, 5'10", 270 right now. So he's going to be coming in at least at the 260, 265 limit.
Right.
And he is 1-1, coming off of a loss against what is that?
Arkham
Akram
Sharpov.
Sharpov. Yeah.
Obviously some kind of Russian descent.
But like most heavyweight fights, he has won one by TKO referee stoppage, and then he has lost one by TKO referee stoppage. So
I do enjoy a heavyweight fight because most of the time, if it's going to be anything, you're getting the shit knocked out of you.
well, that's what people expect when they see a heavyweight fight.
Well, hopefully we'll see something of that style. Oh, wait. I just threw Trevor Styles up there. Sorry.
God, dude, I want to punch you in the face.
Our podcast just went downhill quick.
It's got to be uphill first.
We're
Right?
working it. We're getting there. We're getting there, bro. We're getting there.
Let's
All
talk
right.
about a fight, another
Kevin-
fight that has been recently added since within the last week, and Kevin Ulrich versus Deshaun Morton. And Kevin, this is a catchweight. It looks like it seems like it's gonna be a catchweight. Both fighters coming in around 130, so it's either gonna be a bantamweight catchweight at 130, or it's gonna be a flyweight at 125. Kevin is undefeated. He's 1-0. And then Deshaun Morton is 1-1.
Yep.
This is what gets me right. Deshaun Morton is 5'2". Now,
Yeah.
that doesn't surprise me with the weight. You know, like you
Yeah.
got guys like Mighty Mouse who fight at 125,
Right.
who's like the best pound for pound fighter in the world, who is like 5'2".
Right.
The height doesn't matter. You just don't see that,
In amateur?
especially at not just amateur, but in Northeast Ohio, you don't see a lot of guys coming in at 5'2". So I'm not saying that it's anything bad.
And half of my new
against them.
family, my soon-to-be wedded family, they're all pretty short. And Chris is pretty big dude. I ain't joking. So is his dad. Oh, man. Alan? Whew.
But I mean, Deshaun just fought Robert Presley at the Arnold, man, and and he lost by submission. He is not suspended. I guess he's not serving that suspended.
Guillotine choke on that one.
Yeah, unfortunately,
Round one.
the only strike that the only problem I have with Deshaun right now is that both fights have been for, you guessed it, #fuck Alliance.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna hold that against you, Deshaun. I'm not gonna. If I got offered a fight at the Arnold, I would
mean-
have taken it too.
But, I mean, we got Iron Tiger Fight Series 77.
I don't care. Give a shit. Fuck, dude. Look at Kevin fall fucking Iron Tiger. Fuck Series 72.
Fuck series.
God damn it.
Fuck series.
These guys, man.
I mean, IT is gonna bring in anybody they possibly can to try and get their promotion
IT's
going.
done, bro. IT is done.
Really?
They're fucking done. They're no longer. I don't even think Iron Tiger is gonna exist anymore. I'm pretty sure they just canceled their last show because they couldn't get enough fucking fights. They couldn't get anybody. They're losing money. They were hemorrhaging money last year. I think now they're just going to be Alliance MMA.
You know why, right? Because when a company comes in and tries to buy out everybody on the East Coast, you're bound to lose the fucking money.
I'm serious, man. I hope that I hope some of those names, and you know who you fucking are, some of you names that sold out, I hope y'all fucking regret your decision. And I hope
No,
you
they don't
guys-
regret it because they got their fucking money and they left. They bounced.
No, some of them didn't. Some of them are still fucking there.
Well, let's move on because
But no,
you
like
know, we've already
Kevin
got-
Ulrich though, like he basically comes from a broken fight team. He's training independently now. He's doing all of his conditioning, all of his training. He's doing it in his basement, and
Some of the greatest fighters come out of their basement, though.
But I mean, he's a guy that prefers Muay Thai, prefers stand up. He's got a slight wrestling background. Well, I want to say slight. He has a wrestling background, and he's only been studying jujitsu for like a year, maybe, which is still good. You could, I mean, a year if you consistently study jujitsu for a year, you're at least gonna know what the hell you're doing.
You're still getting a lot of the technical aspects out of it, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, as far as Deshaun though, man, we don't really have much, and then like I said, with guys, especially amateurs with not a lot of fight history and not a lot of fight experience, unfortunately, not much to really talk about. So, moving on, we're going to go to Mitch Dotto versus Tyree Johnson, man. These are two names that we have seen before, that we have covered before, and I am looking forward to seeing this fight. I was looking forward to seeing Tyree fight last event. Fortunately, Tyree got sick, had to pull from the card, and now we get to see him actually fight. And he's fighting Mitch Dotto.
Right.
Which is an exciting fighter, to say the least. And it looks like this is going to be a light heavyweight matchup. So this is going to be fun. This is going to be a fun fight. I'm serious. I'm really looking forward to it. We actually got front row tickets to see Mitch Dotto fight back in July when he fought Joe Wheeler, man.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, he ended up losing to Joe Wheeler, but that was a title fight, if you remember. And that fight
it
was
was
a decision. So
he went all the way. He did a really good job. His endurance was up. I mean, unfortunately, it came to a decision.
And it's not the first time. And he fought Joe Wheeler before, back in 2015. He lost to him in the first round by an armbar. So fighting him again for a title fight and losing via unanimous decision definitely has improved his game over the last 2 or 3 years. But he has wins over guys like Robert Joshua Barbie, Dom Johns. Like, he's got some notable wins. And then but with Tyree Johnson, who's got 17 amateur fights. You got to remember, there's the Tyree Johnson, then there's like the Joshua Barbie. You know what I'm saying? They've got like 20 something fights between the two.
Well, here's the funny thing. Here's the funny thing about that is that the ones that you just rattled off for Joshua Barbie and Robert Johnson, Tyree also fought them.
Right.
So the last one,
Tyree's coming off of a
win with Mike Siebert, which came down to a decision at Big Guns 25. So
he's also fought and beat Robert Johnson at Big Guns 23.
Right.
So,
and then Aaron Garrett sounds like a familiar name.
Yeah, because Aaron Garrett's the little bitch that fucking reported us for copyright infringement. Watching too, Aaron.
That's right. I forgot about that. And where are we at now? Oh, that's right. We're a part of a huge promotion, Honor Fighting Championship right now. Yeah,
we're sponsored by the biggest promotion in Northeast Ohio since the NAAFS, and we still have your fight videos on our YouTube channel, you dick, that you guys can't do shit about.
What have I started? I am so sorry, people. There's no hostility in this room right now. None was. So, anyways, he did lose to Joshua Barbie as well. Tyree Johnson.
We were there for that fight.
Yes, we were.
I remember that fight.
Yes, we were. That was definitely at Cage Madness 48 with the Pro-Am.
That was what, May?
That was May. It was due to submission, guillotine choke, round 1 in 50 seconds.
Right. But I mean, let's say he bounced back and he ended up taking the win, split decision against Mike Siebert. And then
so needless to say, we've got the what happened here? My whole thing just decided to go completely haywire. I lost it. I know your names. No, the Michael Dotto.
It's Mitch. Just call him Mitch.
Mitchell?
Just call him Mitch.
Okay.
Mitch
there was a smidge on my screen, so I thought it was a Mitchell or Michael. Michael Dotto, Mitchell.
You just did it again.
I know, I did.
Doing the names,
dude. Once I see your face, when I do your interviews, I will know you. I will remember you.
You won't know your name.
I can't figure out your name. I'll do it a million times.
All right, now here's a fight that I'm looking forward to with Fred Davis and Roy Nichols, man. And Fred Davis is my boy, man. I talk to this guy frequently. He's constantly, I want to say constantly, but he messages me frequently on Facebook, and we get to talk, and he always lets me know what's going on. He's in the Masters division. He's 42 years old, and we just seen him fight a Cage Thunder too.
Yes.
And like he hit Matt Matlock with a right hand from hell, and I mean it was insane. It was beautiful. I will say that it was a beautiful right hook. And you know, Fred Davis, you know, he's fought a lot of guys. He's fought guys like John Cook. He's fought Ben Childers. We had Ben Childers on the show last year. He's fought Josh Barbie.
Joe Strickland.
Joe Strickland. He's fought some guys, man. And again, he's fought a lot of guys that we've covered. And now he's fighting another guy that we've covered,
right?
Who just fought last event on the honor card in Roy Nichols.
Right.
Roy Nichols, he lost to Logan Thompson at Honor Fighting Championship 2, but he just fought at the Arnold Sports Festival on March 2nd, and he won by rear naked choke. He fought Tyler Cobbins. So I mean, he's 5'5", 185 pounds, man, and Fred Davis is 5'6".
Yeah, I mean, it's
85
really
pounds,
good.
man. They might actually. I don't know if they're going to fight at middleweight or they're going to go drop down the welter. But I mean, that's a fight that got added. That when Fred messaged me and said, "Hey, I'm fighting Roy," I was like, "Oh, that's going to be a good one."
Yeah,
you know, like I'm looking forward to that fight. You know,
dude. And we talked about it on one of our previous podcasts a long time ago.
Fred Davis, yeah, when he fought Ben Childers,
right? And you know, being at 42 years old, you've already said it yourself many a times. You know, this is a young man's sport. It's not often that you see somebody in the 40s still fighting.
Yeah, it isn't. And Fred, man, God, I love that dude, man. He walks around. He looks like a mini Stone Cold Steve Austin, man. I'm serious. I mean, dude's 5'6".
Right.
So you got to look at. I mean, I'm serious. He walks around. He's bold. Got the goatee. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's fucking hilarious, man. I do. I bust his balls all the time.
So you pretty much just want to see if he can grab a couple of beers, pop them together real quick, and see what he can do, right?
Nah, I just want to throw him a beer when he wins a fight. You know, like
right.
When he beat Matt, dude, Matlock. I just wanted to toss a Budweiser in the cage, man. But no, it's good times. We joke about it, but Fred Davis is a very really humble guy. He's a class act. I like him. We got a chance to interview Roy Nichols January 27th at the Honor Fighting Championship 2, and he's actually one of the highlights of our blooper reel. And, man, that was beautiful. I mean, he's a good dude too. He's got a good sense of humor. So
was that the one that I was talking about? Don't worry, I won't kiss you.
Yes. Yes.
I'm done. He starts walking.
I'm done. And then moving on, let's talk about Mo Miller. Little Mo Miller.
Mo Miller.
Yeah, 5'8", featherweight at 145 pounds. He is 2-0. He's undefeated. Trains at Strong Style. And his last fight was March of 2017, where he was victorious against Nick Lawler by referee stoppage due to strikes. So, and then his first win was 2016 against Cody Aries. So, and he knocked him out in the first round in 18 seconds.
Yeah.
And he's going up against Christopher Wolf, who's 2-3. He's 30 years old, 5'11", 170 pounds. So you look at the weight discrepancy here. You had Mo Miller, who recorded weight of 145. Then you got 170. So I wonder. I have no idea where they're going to meet.
Catch weight?
No, I don't think it'll be a catch weight. But I mean,
But Christopher's also coming off of a loss too against Michael Flores.
Yeah, but 2 years ago.
Yeah, wow.
But I mean, you can't really. It's hard to like dictate someone's hunger and drive, even if they're coming off of a loss.
Right.
If it was 2 years ago, you know what I'm saying?
True.
Like even if he came off a win, it was still 2 years ago. So it's like who gives a shit at this point? You're in the here and now.
Right.
I mean, hell, Mo Miller, he's 2-0. He's undefeated, but he hasn't fought in a year.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you really don't know what he's been doing that whole time. I'm just gonna put two and two together and say that he's been training his ass off for the last year at Strong Style. I mean, Mo Miller, he's from Canton, Ohio. He was an All American wrestler at Notre Dame.
Really?
Yeah, so I mean, he's definitely one of these guys that like I feel like we should know who he is,
Right.
but being a new podcast within the year, you know what I'm
Right,
saying? We've
yeah.
only been up and going for a year. He hasn't fought in a year.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like his last fight was March 17th or something like that
Mo
of
Miller?
2017. Yeah, Mo Miller was what? March 25th of 2017.
Yeah.
And he fought for IT, fuck Alliance. And like, you know, we weren't covering that.
No, we weren't.
Then, you know what I'm saying? Like we had just started in March of last year.
Actually,
Right.
I think we started in April.
No, our first fight, or sorry, March
I wasn't
17th.
working. I wasn't working for All Type at the time.
But our first show was Big Guns. I think it was March 17th was the original
I think
day
it
or
was
something like that.
43. Big Guns 43 is the first one that we went to.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that was like March 23rd because the venue had gotten pushed a
Yeah,
week.
you're right. It was.
But yeah, so we had just started in March. So that was his last fight. So we didn't even get an opportunity to see Mo Miller fight. So I mean, I feel like we should know this guy. He's undefeated. He fights Strong Style. But yeah, I got a chance to talk to him. He seems like he would be an exciting fighter to watch.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So I'm definitely looking forward to this fight. I wish both guys the best of luck, man.
Yeah, definitely. Let's move on to Robert Presley and Luke Chon.
This was a Luke Chokin. We actually have a video of him on our YouTube channel. He fought at IT, #FuckAlliance. We just need a button. We need a button.
Just a fuck alliance.
I'm serious, man. Like a little bell. Just every time we bring it up and we ring the button, everyone will just know what that means.
Or we can get it
for.
programmed. We get like one of those old fart machines that you can program your own voice on it, and it just says "fuck alliance."
Every time it hits, it's just like a robot voice that says "fuck Alliance" on there. But this was
This
another
is
fight
Microsoft.
that just got added, and Robert Presley and Luke Chokin, and both fighters, I guess. I mean, they've been looking for a fight, and matchmaker of the year, Scott Corbin. They said, you know what, you guys are meant to be.
Right.
You guys will be good together. Here you go.
Right. I mean, you're looking at Luke Chokin, which is his record right now is 2-1. He's 21 years old, 5'6" at 125 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and he's coming off of a win from last December on December 15th against Isaiah Isaacs.
Right.
And you're looking at Iron Tiger 79, fuck Alliance, by submission triangle choke in first round in 43 seconds.
Right.
So, you know, he's obviously coming in there and doing his job quick. He does not like to mess around.
Yeah. Well, he's going up against a 4-2 Robert Presley, who's coming off of a win against Deshaun Morton, a name that we literally just got done talking about.
Yeah.
And but he's on a 3-fight win streak, and this is a 3-fight win streak of recent. I'm talking June of 2017, October, and then of 2017, and then March of this year.
Right.
So he's not wasting any time right now. He's trying to rack up these victories. He's trying to rack up all these fights. I mean, he's got wins over Jose Garza, Nolan Stahl, who we covered on the 27th of January at Honor Fighting Championship 2.
Right.
He's got a win over Sean Captain. I mean, he's no slouch. He's can fight. He's lost to Max Mies. Max Mies is a hell of a fighter.
Right.
You know, so his fight history speaks for itself, and I think between the two fighters, this is going to be a very interesting fight. I'm really I couldn't call it. I wouldn't be able to tell you. I mean,
well, let's make it a little interesting. Just for shits and giggles, this is definitely not a official type anything. We're just bullshitting. Giving the two fighters, obviously, going for Luke Chokin's first round submissions for his first. Actually, it looks like he's a winner for 2 different ones, both of them within the first round, under 2 minutes. So what do you think? Do you think first or second round?
Well, the caliber of fight this is, both fighters being, good. I think it goes. I think it can go. I think it'll be a decision.
You think it'll be a decision?
Right. I think it will be. I mean, it's. But again, this is amateur fighting, and between the two fighters, they only have like 9 fights or some shit between the both of them. So, it could end in the first round.
Okay.
It's hard. It's really hard to.
I'm going to go with.
You just look on paper and you go, okay, this person's going to win. That person's going to win, or oh yeah, it's going to be. You have to know that we don't know these guys personally. I mean, the higher up that we get on this fight card, the more in depth that we're able to actually speak on behalf of the fighter, because we know them, we've trained with them, we've done interviews on them, we've
Right.
seen them fight multiple times, so we know the caliber of fighter they are. But still, this is also MMA, and the fight can end abruptly with just one punch. So we don't know.
Okay. I'm going to go with the in between. I'm going to go with the underdog here. And I'm just going to say, I think the fight's going to go to the second round.
Okay.
Probably somewhere around the 150 to, let's give it a window to 215.
Okay. I'll remember that too.
Good. I'm glad.
Moving on, we'll talk about Timothy Hughes and Damon Morosco. We just did an interview with Tim Hughes, the Honey Badger, last week's podcast, and
The Badger Milk.
they say these guys, he's fighting out of Fightopia, Pickle, Ohio, and they say he has nothing but great things to say about his training partners and his fight team, and he's going up against Damon Morosco, who defeated Tristan Constant.
Yes.
At the last show, and pretty convincing fashion too. So Tristan Constant, who had made, I believe, his debut last show. I mean, and he made it to the second round, but Damon was able to overwhelm Tristan, and it was able to get the fight stopped in the second round by TKO.
Yep.
So it's going to be a different fight. I will say this: it is going to be a different fight for Damon. It is. It has to be. You know what I'm saying? He's going up against a guy who's hungry. And we know this because we just got done talking to the guy.
I mean, the guy's
Tim Hughes
ready to
is
come in.
Hungry. You know what I'm saying? And Tim Hughes knows, Tim knows that, about Damon's wrestling background. He's preparing for it. I'm not saying that Tim's going to win. I'm not saying Damon's going to win. I'm just saying it's going to be a different kind of fight for Damon.
Yep. And I think that judging by what we covered with Tim last week, he's going to show that different side that everybody hasn't seen yet. And I think he's going to debut that in a very well-mannered fashion.
Yeah. But moving on, we talked enough about Tim Hughes last week and with the interview, and
but there's still love.
No, there's love, yeah. And then with Damon, I don't even think he gave us the time or day last show. I don't even think we got an interview with the guy.
I don't think we got the pre-fight.
I think we got the
post-fight.
I think we're gonna get the post-fight, but it's hard to gather information on someone who it's hard to get the time or day with. So hopefully we get the pre-fight interview with Damon this time, and we get to ask some pretty interesting questions. We get to know the fighter a little bit more. But
you ready for this next one, bro?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. It's the first atomweight title fight that I've ever seen. It's the first atomweight fight that I've ever personally seen, and it's awesome because I get to call it. So
no bragging rights allowed, Norm.
But going into it, we got Jennifer Hicks, who's undefeated at 3-0. She's 32 years old. Of
Holy
course,
crap.
it also says that she's a male.
Really?
on the profile, yeah.
Oh shit!
But 3-0, 32 years old. Hell, I can't even trust the age at this point. 4'11", 125. But
wow, you've got
all decisions. 2 unanimous and 1 split decision wins, and then now going into a title fight at a smaller weight class against a Kayla Kipp. And
Kayla Kipp, man, she's got a decent. I mean, I can probably go by the age here because it actually says female on here. I can go by that. I mean, 2-1. She's 28 years old, 5'3" at 115 pounds, out of Ohio. Here's the other weird part about this. We've also been covering a lot of the fights that are on this card that have a lot of fighters that are going on hiatus and coming back. Now, we don't know exactly why she hasn't been fighting MMA since 2014 up until last year on
Yeah, it could have
September
been
30th.
could have been family. Could have been
Right.
you know, she could have had a kid. She could have got married. I don't know. We don't know what it was. We're gonna find out. Like I
Her
said,
last fight was against Megan Williams at Big Guns 25. They went all the way to a unanimous decision. And then her previous win closest to her is from April 19th of 2014 at EAC 6. And that was against a Kelly West Carver. And that was TKO, referee stoppage in the
so
first round.
basically, Kayla's no stranger to the unanimous decision fights, the decision fights going the distance, and she's going up against an opponent who's undefeated, and with all 3 fights going to the distance. So I guess it's safe to say that this fight most likely will go to distance, but it's fitting for it to be a title fight, the first atomweight title fight, and
Who will be next?
definitely. I mean, it's hard to get fights at that weight class. I'm surprised. I can't
Can
believe
only be one.
I can't
atomweight
believe
fighter.
Scott Corbin actually pulled that together, and I hope that nothing.
Once again.
I hope both fighters make the weight, because I know with the last show we had the female fighter. We had
Kayla.
it was Kate Brummett or
Yeah, Kate Brummett and Christina Piles. What was her name?
Christina Piles.
It was Piles.
Regardless, the one had to not shave her head, but cut off all of
Yeah.
her hair.
Kate Brummett and
Christina Piles.
Katie Piles. Oh, she's gonna hurt me now. She's one of my friends on Facebook.
Oh man,
She's gonna kill me.
That's good. That's good.
It's Piles though. Her last name's Piles. I'm gonna look it up.
Look it up.
I'm gonna look it up.
Look it up.
I'm going to look it up.
While you're looking that up, though, we're going to get right into a next title fight. That's a super heavyweight. This fight was supposed to happen at Honor Fighting Championship 2, and it didn't because both fighters, I guess what happened is like that was around the time that rule change, and it was supposed to be the professional debut of both fighters, and it got denied. It was approved. The rule change happened, and then it got declined.
Right.
And so the fight didn't happen. Now this fight is going to happen again. They rescheduled it. It's going to happen, but it's not professional. It is an amateur. We got Nick Bashir, who is 6'4". It's super heavyweight. It's well over 300 pounds.
Whitney Piles.
Whitney Piles. Okay. Well, we had Piles, right?
I should have remembered her name because of the fact she's
You were married to a Whitney.
Wife's
at one point,
name
right?
was.
Anyway, so Nicholas Bashir is 7-0. He's fighting Ian Suttles, who's 5-0. Okay, both guys are relatively the same height, and they're both wrestlers.
Yes.
So, I mean, hell, Nick's last fight was against George Porter, and he won by unanimous decision. It was basically a wrestling match, So, and he's also he fought Eddie Fajan, who we covered at one of the Cage Madness events. Nick Bashir, and he has not only he has a wrestling background, but if you look at his autobiography, basically he's got posted up on his webpage. He also has it's like a professional wrestling type of background too that he likes to do.
Yes.
So it's pretty interesting. And this fight, I mean, someone's got to lose.
No.
Ian Suttles is, undefeated. He's the younger of the two. I mean, Nick is 36 years old and Ian's like 21. But Ian fighting out of Indiana. His last fight was in August against Charles Stanback. So, and he won in the second round by TKO. He's won by submission, TKO. I mean, one decision. He's gone one decision. But I mean, this guy is no stranger to the ground. Both guys. I mean, Nick Bashir's last fight when he fought George, man, the entire second round he had George on the ground.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So this is actually, I don't say this very often, but this fight might actually go to a decision at a super heavyweight level. We may not see a knockout, If I were to guess, just based on if I was to give you like an intelligent answer, like a prediction, not who's gonna win that fight, but how it's gonna end, I would say that it would probably going to end within the first 2 rounds by TKO, ground and pound. Like someone's gonna get taken to the ground and someone's gonna get pounded out.
So you don't see any submission capability whatsoever?
No, I see. No, they're
Right.
it can happen. Ian's got a submission win.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure Nick's got a submission win. I'm saying is with both guys having a wrestling background, especially Ian, you know, I could definitely see one of these fighters getting taken down to the ground and getting pounded out.
Right.
I could see it. It's not far fetched. So I'm really
You're going to be
interested.
commentating it, so
Yeah, I mean, I'm just curious to see, you know, how it actually happens.
I'm excited for it because I was excited for the last super heavyweight fight. I
Right.
don't know, and it got scrapped. So
Well, I mean, we weren't working the event, but the last super heavyweight fight that we watched was George Pointer and James Neff, and
Which there's plenty of love.
That went to decision.
right, there's plenty of love to George.
But let's move on. We're gonna talk about James Pfeiffer and Stephen DeFauley.
Oh, moving on to our pro card.
Yeah, this is our first pro card, and we got James Pfeiffer, who, you know, though he's 0-1 as a pro, losing to Jose Martinez
Right,
by split decision, mind you, he's got a 10-1 amateur record.
right.
You know what I'm saying? So I mean, he's got some notable wins here, but like, you know, we got a chance to talk to him. This kid, you know, he fights out of Norwalk, Ohio, and when I asked him, like, hey man, you know, what's your style of training? His response was
just
beat you up
hilarious.
style. He's a beat you up style. He's the Merc Sand from Wakanda, superhero enthusiast, Power Ranger in training. Like that was his answer.
Is he the White Ranger though?
No,
No,
he's definitely. If I were to guess, he's the Black Ranger.
not even the red.
No,
Okay. What about the
But no,
green? How about
he's-
green? How about the Green Ranger?
he's.
We're gonna
like I say,
just go through all of them.
He fights out of Newark, Ohio. He trains with Iron and Soul, and I actually think that I fought one guy who trains at Iron and Soul. I'm not sure though, but I fought a guy back in 2007.
Here we go.
His name was Troy Brown, and I'm pretty sure he boxed and trained out of Iron and Soul. I don't know though. But I think
We might
it
wanna
sounds
do a little bit of
familiar.
research and
Well,
find out.
It sounds familiar. It definitely sounds familiar. But anyway, moving on to
Stephen DeFauley.
is it Stefan or Steven?
Stefan.
Steven?
I mean,
Steven.
we'll call him Stefan because we're not exactly sure if it's DeFauley or if it's DeFall.
I think it's DeFale.
But
But he's a 3-0 amateur with a 1-1 pro.
Coming out of the sunny state of Florida.
And he trains with he actually trains with the American Top Team out of Fort Lauderdale.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
That was really interesting. I mean, that's like UFC, the UFC fighters and shit like that train out of Fort Lauderdale, the American Top Team, man.
Well, then we've also got the
So-
other controversy with the OAC laws and going against to the Florida laws. His amateur record's only 3-0.
And like I said, that means jack shit.
Right.
That means absolutely nothing. Just because you have an amateur record less than what the state requires you to have in order to go pro. If you're already pro,
Right,
it
they
just
got it, they're
null
gonna
and
honor it.
voids everything.
Right.
Now you can find the only time you get in trouble for that is if you're an Ohio fighter and you go out of state
To
to
get
get your
pro card?
and then try to fight pro in Ohio, the OAC can suspend you. Most likely will suspend you for a couple years. I think
Really?
Bernie was talking about like a 2 or 3 year suspension if you try to do that. It's not going to stop fighters from doing that because I mean, hell, you just don't fight in Ohio, and Ohio is going to be the one that's going to lose money because of it, you know, because you got an exciting fighter that is forced to fight out of state now.
Right.
So-
Well, it also looks like he's coming off of a loss. It was a real fighting championship 41 submission. Doesn't give me anything more than that in round 1 in 4 minutes and 1 second.
Right.
So
And then moving on to our second professional bout.
oh, our buddy, our
This
friend.
was Well, this was no, it was Chad Kelly versus Aaron Jeffrey. Chad Kelly. This fight was for a good portion of the month was the main event, and it ended up getting pushed to the third fight because they added a couple. They added another professional fight to the card that we're going to get to here in a minute. But yeah, we got the butcher Chad Kelly.
Yep.
Going up against Aaron Jeffrey. And Aaron Jeffrey is from Hamilton, Ontario, fighting out of Parabellum MMA.
Wow.
You know, he's 3-1, 6'2". I believe there's a middleweight fight, and yeah, he's coming off of a win. I mean, granted, like I said, it's from 2 years ago,
Right.
but so it doesn't really mean shit. But yeah, he's coming off of a win, and like I said, hopefully he's been training his ass off for those last couple of years, and it's because he's going up against strong styles Chad Kelly.
He better be hungry, I'm telling you.
Right. I mean, and Chad Kelly, he's fought December, and he
Right.
beat Tony DePero at IT. Bing. And
Ding.
but, I mean, he's also fought guys like John Cook and Robbie Michaels, Tony Binder.
Robbie Michaels.
That's what I just said. Though.
Did you just say that?
Yes.
I didn't hear you.
But
I thought you said John Cook.
I did say John Cook.
Oh, okay.
But this fight's going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting fight. Chad Kelly is a hometown favorite. He is a very liked fighter in Northeast Ohio. So, and he trains at a very prestigious gym. So, it's going to be an interesting fight. And then moving on, we got Drew Schottenheimer. I got it right that time. I always said Schottenheimer. It's Schottenheimer.
Schottenheimer.
We actually just did an interview, an in-depth meet your fighter interview with Drew, and it is actually posted on our Facebook page. You guys can check that out. It's doing very well right now, actually.
Do not forget to like and share that, please.
And he's going up against Kahim Murray. Kahim is 1-1, 5'10". He's a taller fighter, but Drew's 6 foot. They're actually coming in and doing this at 155. You know, Drew had stated that he's usually a featherweight fighter, but he has fought at lightweight, so he's no stranger to it. So his weight's looking good right now. We got a chance to catch up with him, and I got a chance to talk to Kahim, you know, just a little bit on social media, and he's ready for this fight, man. I really think that he's ready for this fight, and
I mean, Kahim, he's coming out of Pennsylvania, and we've talked to him, like you said.
it's coming out of Philly, man, Philadelphia.
So that's a long haul, man. I mean, that's about 8 hours.
Well, he's from Darby, and you know he fights with Royal Striking out of Philly. So he's a striker. He's predominantly a striker, but he has those submission victories as an amateur. So like he doesn't expect it. And this is his words. He goes, "Win or lose, I don't expect this to go to a decision."
Okay.
So you already know, like right off the bat, this is going to be an exciting fight.
Right. I mean, his last one at Art of War Cage Fighting 4, he had a TKO second round 441.
Right.
So it was referee stoppage from strikes. So like you said, he's gonna make it interesting quick.
And then moving on, like with Drew, this is his 7th fight compared to Kahim's 3rd fight professionally. And like I said, we had gotten a chance to talk to Drew, and the other day over the weekend when we had shot the interview with him, and he's riding a 2-fight losing streak. And his last fight, he suffered an injury. He is.
Can I do it?
What?
Can I just do it?
Do what? Against Michael
Jackson.
Yeah. Well, he ended up losing that fight, and he sustained a rib injury in the first round, and ultimately, he ended up losing by TKO. And Drew is not somebody who will tap out, and it seems like Kahim is somebody that doesn't want to ever go to decisions. So this fight's going to be very interesting, and I think I agree with Kahim. I don't think it's going to go to a decision, but I'm curious. And,
I mean, with our feature fighter, everything that he was saying, he's hungry, and he's ready. I mean, judging by his training ethic and everything else that we were able to spotlight on him the other day, he's not stopping. He's gonna go.
Yeah. I mean, it's, and we've seen Drew fight before. I mean, we've covered him, and when we saw him fight Carlos Yanez, and
Right.
he put Carlos down like in the first round too. It's going to be an interesting fight, but it's definitely not. I think it's going to be a war. I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait. But
Oh yeah, both of them are coming out of there with strikes, stoppages. You know, it's gonna be a battle.
and then moving on to our new main event, we've got Aleska Kamar versus Alan Boyes. And Aleska, fighting out of Broadview Heights with strong style, is undefeated as an amateur, I believe, as well as a pro. I think he's 4-0 as an amateur and then 2-0 as a professional. So he's 22 years old. He's 6 feet tall. Yeah, he's been 4-0, as an amateur. He's 2-0 as a pro. But here's the kicker, is that he's also going up against another undefeated fighter who is 6-0 as an amateur and now 2-0 as a professional. And Alan Boyes, I got a chance to talk to him. He's fighting out of Combat Club Martial Arts out of Jacksonville, North Carolina. He's a United States Marine veteran. He's a father.
Wow.
He's, he
Wow.
his last fight was in February of this year. He just turned pro September of 2017. His last fight, he won a submission of the second round.
Right.
So, in looking at his amateur history, he's submission, KO. And he's got a couple decisions, 3 decisions. He's looks like he won King of Jacksonville's title
Really?
as an amateur, and then he won his pro debut against Eric Ellerby by TKO referee stoppage in the first round in the first minute. He's 6'2", he's 205 pounds, he's 31 years old. But again, man, he's going up against a strong style fighter, another guy who's undefeated, and like I said, man, Alaska's his debut was 20 seconds into the first round. He knocked Randy Tran out, and then he won again. 2 or 3 months later against David White by TKO stoppage in the second round.
Wow.
I'm not going to mention who he fought for in those 2 professional fights. I'm glad he came to the other side. But
Ding.
But I mean, he started his amateur career in 2014 when he made his debut at NAAFS Combat Challenge 28, where he knocked out in the first round in 18 seconds George Howard. So he's a striker, man. Just looking at his history, he's won every single fight by TKO or knockout. He's got 2 knockouts on his record, and the rest are TKO stoppage.
Wow.
Due to strikes. So he's a brawler. He's a striker. And like I say, he's young. And you know what young means, man. Young means hungry. And this is going to be a scrap. And I think that making this the main event for this event was the right choice for the promotion. And I think Scott did an excellent job at suggesting that this is where it needs to be in the direction it needed to be in. So,
Right.
But yeah, that's it for the
fight card.
fight card, man. It's about 16 fights or so. I didn't even count them, but I mean, again, Honor Fighting Championship 3, Operation Shockwave, March 31st at the Chaparrals Event Center on Arlington Road in Akron, Ohio. And I can't wait, man. We've been talking about this promotion. We've been talking about this show, this event coming up all month. So,
I can't. I'm waiting to pack it up.
Right. I mean, you talk about these guys all month. We know very little about them. And I just can't wait to interview them. I can't wait to meet them in person, shake their hand, and actually ask them some questions. And then seeing them fight. I mean, that's what I love about this. I love covering guys. I love covering fighters that we haven't covered before. Because I feel like we're going to see them grow.
Oh yeah,
It's like what I was telling Tim. He's like, I like seeing guys grow as a fighter, and getting that chance to interview them and pick their brain a little bit is always a fascinating thing to do in this sport. So I'm looking forward to it. And again, guys, if you haven't already bought your ticket, make sure you support your local fighter. If there's somebody that you know personally who's fighting on this card, get in contact with them. Buy your ticket from them personally, or head on over to fightertix.com and click on the Honor Fighting Championship 3 link. It'll take you right to their official page where you can then select your favorite fighter or a fighter. Hell, it doesn't even have to be a favorite fighter. Just click on a fighter and buy your ticket from them. That way, you're not buying it at the door.
Right.
By basically buying stand-up room. Tables are already sold. The Ring of Honor is already sold out.
That's been sold out since the beginning of the month.
Right. So, I mean, these guys have been, last event, they had to sell standing room. And they were like reached capacity and all that shit. I mean, so this is going to be a good event. So,
Yeah, definitely.
But that's all the time we have today, guys. And thanks for, if you made it this far in the podcast, thanks for watching. And until next time.
Semper Fi.